The Clay County, Missouri Jane Doe, identified as Gwendolyn Renee Robinson. Gwendolyn Robinson was 20 years old and the mother of a young toddler when she went missing from Kansas City, Missouri. The last time anyone had seen her, she was applying for a marriage license on March 7, 1983. She seemingly just disappeared. Like so many of these men and women, if they were reported missing at the time, the evidence of the report went missing itself long ago. In many cases, the police wouldn't take a report, saying the missing person was an adult and they had a right to go missing if they wanted to. Personally, I think it's just an excuse not to take a report, but it happened in a lot of places, and it likely resulted in a lot of John and Jane Does. It's worth noting, though, that they no longer take that position today. They'll take the report, but it was common back then. Also, in a lot of these cases, family members seem to believe that they walked away on purpose, and then they're not actually missing. They're out there living their life by choice. In this case, Gwendolyn, she was a young mother, and her daughter never stopped caring or wondering where her mother was. She thought about her mother often as she grew up. She would end up putting in her own missing person report in the summer of 2022. The NamUs profile for her case was entered on August 8, 2022, and by September 8th, an announcement was made. Her daughter's missing person report gave her mother the incredible gift of having her name back, something all these men and women deserve. Gwendolyn was found on April 18, 1985, not quite 2 years after she went missing from Kansas City. At that time, she was in Clay County, not far away at all. Over the years, the police did search for her, and in fact, in a case I covered on this channel already once as an unidentified Jane Doe. The first examination led to them believe the Clay County Jane Doe was white, which most likely helped in keeping her from being identified early on. They did know that someone had shot 20-year-old Gwen in her skull multiple times and left her in a field where she was found near Boyer Road and Highway 210 East, near Missouri City. This was not quite 2 years and around 20 miles from where she was last seen. Authorities were thrilled when a tip was called in 2016. They saw the new recreation that was done, reflecting that she was a woman of color, and the person who called in the tip believed this was a co-worker who had mysteriously gone missing, saying they believed they worked with her and sometimes rode to work together. They believed that her name was Darlene, and she was a mother of 2, working at an envelope company. It was located in Kansas City. As soon as her daughter, who was now in her early 40s, reported her missing, it rapidly set things in motion. The detective working the case said he felt compelled to immediately try to help the daughter find any answers she could. This missing person report very much motivated him, and he pushed it forward. When she entered the police station to report her mother missing, he said he found her to be very authentic. He said it hit different. He felt like they had to dig into it. The police detective found himself drawn to the case, and interesting enough, she had passed away before he was even born. The detective would find himself working 12-hour days for a while, searching and interviewing people. It was he who contacted the analyst who would eventually find the Jane Doe case. In fact, it was a stroke of luck the analyst had a good memory for faces. He would state later that when he saw the picture of Gwendolyn, he immediately recognized her jawline. It goes to show just how important these recreations can be. And it likely helped there was a renewed effort in 2016 when the tip came in, keeping her image in mind. So it's possible the tip that Gwen may have been this woman named Darlene, while not true, may have actually made a huge difference. It could have been a blessing in disguise, and it helped that Gwen was found only 20 miles away from where she actually went missing. Everything fell together. They obtained and ran DNA tests comparing the Clay County Jane Doe to Gwendolyn's daughter. Eventually, it came back at a 50% match, indicating they were in fact mother and daughter. While Gwendolyn's daughter couldn't remember her mom, she very much wanted to find her. That drive for answers and a detective and an analyst that cared just as much made all the difference. Gwendolyn Robinson again had her name. I wish I could offer information on the father of Gwen's child, as it was he the marriage license was with, but so far there's nothing on this. I generally do another quick burst of research before I finalize the photos along with the audio, so if something comes up, you'll see an editor's note come up on the screen. Gwendolyn Renee Robinson was missing for 39 years. She went unidentified for 37. Had she lived, she would be 59 today. The Newport Township Jane Doe, identified as Joan Dymond. In November of 2012, some people were out searching for relics near an old mine shaft near Alden Mountain Road in Newport Township, Pennsylvania. Instead, they found skeletal remains of a young woman. The Jane Doe was estimated to be in her mid-teens to early 20s, and the authorities would suspect foul play. They weren't sure how long she'd been there. Lab results indicated it was a long time, probably since the late 1960s. The Criminal Investigation Unit was able to successfully submit her DNA profile to the two main national databases to compare with matches on record, but none were found. She would then be entered into NamUs, or the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. It would stop here, waiting for a family member to submit their DNA, in hopes of finding her. That's why it is so important to contact NamUs if you're missing someone. There are links on how to do that in the description below. In 2022, her remains were sent to Othram Labs, where scientists used forensic-grade genome sequencing in order to develop a comprehensive DNA profile. That they were able to successfully get her DNA is a small miracle in and of itself, given her remains were outside for 50 years before she was found. It would turn out that the family of Joan Marie Dymond had been waiting 53 years to know what happened to her. Joan was just 14 when she went missing from Wilkes-Barre. It had been a normal day in her home. She'd had dinner with her family on June 25, 1969. She told them she was going outside after dinner to Andover Street Park, and that was it. She was just gone. It's hard not to imagine how crushing that had to be for a parent. Sadly, we still don't know really what happened. They're still investigating, but it's up in the air. And of course, it has been 53 years. So anyone that knows anything about her and what she may have been doing at that time, please call 570-542-4117. Any information might help. Her father, George Dymond, passed away 15 years after Joan disappeared. In 1984, her mother, Anne, passed away, 31 years after Joan went missing. So while her family found out what happened to Joan, it's too late for her parents. Joan Dymond was missing for 53 long years. She went unidentified for not quite 10. She was just 14 when her life was taken, and she would be 67 years old today, had she been allowed to live. Fall River, Massachusetts John Doe, identified as Leon Brown. A man was found in the BFI landfill in Fall River, Massachusetts, on August 29, 2005. They were able to tell that the black-haired, brown-eyed man had difficulty walking, and he needed leg braces. However, no leg braces were found at the scene. It's believed he was likely transported to where he was found by a dump truck, likely originating from the Peabody or North Shore area. His death was labeled suspicious. They ran fingerprints and his DNA, but it led to no clues as to who he was. They now know it was MS that kept him from being able to walk without the braces. It was not until they took his case to public genealogy websites that they found out his true name. Leon Brown was living with his girlfriend at the time he went missing from Boston, Massachusetts, which is about 50 miles away. She reported that he was in bed with her when they went to sleep, and when she woke up that morning, he was just gone. The police went on to say it's very suspicious that a man would go missing from Boston and show up in Fall River, and that it doesn't make sense. Now they have his name, they're digging further into what might have happened to him. He was buried without a headstone or anyone to miss him. There has since been a cross placed on his burial plot, finally bearing Leon's name. Anyone with any information about Leon Brown's case is asked to call the District Attorney's Office at 508-961-1918. Leon Brown was found almost 1 year after he went missing. He was then identified 17 years and 3 days after he was found. As always, thank you so much for watching. The current goal for the channel is 20,000 subscribers. Please consider subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss new episodes. Thank you so much to everybody commenting. Even with just an emoji, it really has made a big difference. Without it, there isn't a channel. So thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves and each other.